This is Divine Sunshine, and this is the Playground Experience. I have lovely co-host here, Kathy D and April Williams. Yay! Today's topic is what do you do when you're at the breaking point in the twin flame adventure? We're going to talk about many other subjects too, but we're going to start off with that because I feel, and myself, and even Lee and Sherry had stated that too, that they felt that a lot of the twin flames are going through this breaking point or this heartbreak. He calls it heartbreak. I call it, it's like right there. You feel like you hit that impasse and you're like, I don't know what to do. I feel like this is it for me. I don't feel like I want to keep continue on. Things are not working. I done tried A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and I, all the way to Z. And it seems like I don't see any type of progress. And at this point, I've seen it. I've seen it in comments. I've seen it on my comments. I've seen it in comments of other readers. And some of them is like I say, deuces. That's nice. Keep on with your dream. I'm out of here. Bye bye. And it's like, okay, well, damn. I like you, but I'm not going to keep on. I'm sorry. This is torture. You know, I don't like to torture and be in pain like this. So I'm out of here. So we're going to talk about like what do you do when you've given your all and you know what you feel like you like what else can you do beyond just stand, because I feel like it's a lot of new ones that are coming in. I call them newbies that are coming in, and they, to me, just putting their little big toe in, and this for the little big toe, and they're like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I don't know how you been at this long, but I can't. I'm sorry. How long you been at that? Oh hell no! I'm not. No, I'm not gonna be in this long. No, I can't. Ain't nobody gonna be in this long, and I'm not gonna be the one. So, what can we do as far as when we have? I'll let you all start it, and I can piggyback at the end about what things can you do when you are at that breaking point with this twin flame journey adventure. Have any of you? Well, I know we all have. I'm not even gonna put y'all out there on Front Street or underneath the bus. I
Thank you.
know y'all have. We
It's
all
all namago. See, that's
Oh, look, disconnect, lost the internet. I don't know what happened.
like,
you actually could probably do that. Like fake being frozen. I'm frozen.
what the heck happened? It was here just a minute ago. So yeah, so what I mean, you know, what did you all do? Let's just ask that personally, because I say we like an experiential channel where we have experience. What were some things that you do to say, okay, I'm at my breaking point? What did you do?
I'm pretty sure I had a hissy fit. I'm pretty sure I went off full on. What do they call that? Temper tantrum. At least to myself anyway. And I had to take these moments. I had to get it all out of me, or let it come through me, process it, right? Because when I tried to avoid it and do the fake happy go lucky dance, like it's fine, everyone, chipper, like not really that dramatic, but I tried to fake it before I make it, but in the twin process, you can't really fake anything. There is no fake in the funk. There's no, and everyone's going to call you on it in one way or another. It's going to keep mirroring itself, and because you keep picking up all the patterns and the languages of the universe, it's constantly being thrown in your face until you actually process it. And so, and each time you process it deeper and a new level of understanding, and you become detached from judgment. So then it doesn't even affect you, right? So that's the progress of it. But initially, there's a whole breakdown. There's a separation even further from itself. And then once you have a couple of personal wins, you start to get back on track again with feeling into that vibration, and it pulls you right back into them. Or into the signs of them, or into the songs of them, or into the feelings, the intuition, and so on and so forth. You.
It's true. Kathy D, what did you do?
Well, the hissy fit, which we all do. And that's it. I'm done. No more. I don't deserve this. I don't want this. You know what? I hope he's happy. The whole 9 yards. We push him away, tell him to go scratch. And if you then stop and listen, you immediately hear them telling, "Oh, that's not what I want. That's not what I want." And so you've got to go back and then reevaluate yourself on what's aggravating them. And, why aren't they moving forward? I've done all this work. Why aren't they moving forward? What's your block? Where are you not moving forward in your life? So you have to go back and you have to look. Now, there are sometimes you're going to mirror identical, and it's going to be a reflective, or it's going to be an identical match. And then there'll be other times it's going to be reflective, like right and left hand kind of thing. So where you could be maybe blocking something at work, maybe a karmic situation at work that that you don't like being there, you don't want to be there, but you got to pay the bills and you don't know how else you would do it, or you're not brave enough to try anything else. And the DM is still in a karmic situation. They're comfortable. They don't know how else they're going to do it. What else would they do? How are they going to take care of their kids? So that's that reflective. But when it's identical, when you're in a karmic relationship and they're in a karmic relationship, and literally the same things are happening, that's when you're mirroring, and that's where you've got to go back and recheck. And even though you think you've got it taken care of, you've got to let those triggers come up and get you. Really and truly, they've got to come up and get you. And it's all in how you respond. At first, when the triggers hit you, Bonita calls them gut checks, because that's what it felt like. You'd get that, and you wanted to curl up and die. And then, it was a little less and a little less. And now it's just like, oh, now I see that. Okay. Yeah, I understand that. All right. I kind of see where this is going, maybe. And then there are other times that you have to have power. And, it's not just the DMs that have the towers. We are not, unsusceptible to those. We deserve them just as much as the next person. And then you have those towers and everything seems to fall apart, and you're sobbing and you're screaming and you're yelling at the top of your lungs, and you don't understand why, and you don't understand what about, and but just everything flows out of you. It's just a vocal purge, and then, just everything. And then when you stop, it's like, oh, now I got it. Now I see where the problem was. So you've got to go back to check yourself. You've really got to. You have got to understand that as DM or DF, whichever the awaken is, we are the leaders in this, and we are getting so close. The veil is so thin right now, and we've got to. This is where we really have to be on to recognizing where our blocks are, where those last little bit, as I've said before, the scum on the bottom of the coffee pot. We got to get that off. The dishwasher didn't do it. You're going to have to get in there with some elbow grease and really look at those things and see things you didn't want to see. They're there. It's just like everything. And it's like when I do hypnotherapy, when I'll ask questions and I say, the answer. You don't even have to think about it, because it's subconsciously, where they are. What the answer is. What you know, and you just have to acknowledge what you know.
And there also is there's the three. You know what you know what you don't know, but then there's what you don't know, and that's when someone like us can help you plug in to
right.
the playground.
Well, we can help you know what you don't know and want to know what you need to know so you can grow.
And therefore, then you'll know. So.
There you go.
There you go. We sound like Dr. Seuss, but hey, you got our point.
Yeah. And your child, she knows, your inner child is going to know the best. And it's going to help you integrate it with the most fun, I think. But also with that comes the unknown. When you were a kid and you didn't get into the unknown, you had a couple ways of feeling about it. You could either be really excited or ready, or you can turn into that little bit of anxious fear, right? And these turn out to be the same part of the brain, right? The hormones that are released. Oh, Jedi mind fact checker.
That's it.
That's good.
That's why I laugh and my mask falls off. I'm
She's
melting
melting.
on camera today. I'm melting. It's better than burning up. It's too hot. Okay, anyway, yes. Knowing the self. Squirrel. Knowing the self. Knowing the mirror effect. Knowing how to actually reflect and get a proper reflection of what you're looking at. And the
Mhm.
lenses that we seem to have, and parts of those could also include not boundary, like lacking boundaries, low self confidence, self worth, self sabotage. These are all things that have been plugged along the way. For I hear a lot of people along the journey, we're all clearing this out and learning how to help each other be accountable in a way that allows us to really receive it.
Mhm.
And so, with tensions at an all time high, we've learned to be extremely sensitive to not only our needs, but each other's needs. And along the twin flame journey, this means even more care because I mean, I feel like the DF definitely feels demand, like she has got her demands. And the DM is like, I just want to just kick back and cruise for just a minute. Or it's all like paper, paper, paper. You got to make that money. You got to keep that like business in line, kind of thing. So as we fall into reawakening this self knowledge, we become less judgmental of ourselves when we have these moments of, oh, I just want to,
Mm-hmm.
stop. But we realize when we actually take a breath, when we actually deep breathe and let our bodies not hold the tension that our mind is trying to make sense of, because that's the real problem is we're having is our mind doesn't make sense of what our reality is seeing when our emotions feel one way and our spirit is talking to us in a also in a similar line, and keeping everything straight can kind of feel a little bit wonky, a little bit all over the place.
Mm-hmm. True.
So along the journey, you get to be triggered from all types of directions about the same thing so that it actually gets fully purged.
Mhm.
And you've hit something really, really beautiful when you say, fuck it, excuse me. Because that's the point where you're like, this is it. Something has to change. This cannot be,
True.
Mhm.
right? And if you're smart about that activity, you start to cleanse your own energies, and that helps. That pulls a void, though. That can pull a void when you clean energy. You got to fill it back up with love or something. When you clear old mind patterns, you got to fill it back with new patterning and creating. So there's a whole balance of back and forth. And as we're clearing, because we get triggered mostly in emotional, but our mind tries to make sense, right? But we feel the emotions, our bodies feel the tension and or like release of flow. And then there's a dance that each of us get to do with our mechanics. Now I see a lot of us um, being really complacent and not doing anything, especially since we're all told to like isolate. But we still need to be active. We still need to be healthy. We still need to care for our bodies just as our minds. And with each new thing that you do, each stretch, each step that you take, you are creating space for more, space for newness to enter. And, and this amount of mindfulness as it grows, it becomes you have less and less pain associated with these almost like attacks of ego, or I don't know what the triggering. So I welcome you into that new conversation. We're into this new space. If someone's coming at you now and they're saying, "Oh, I just want to give up. I don't care about anything." Da, 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 da. And it's like, hey, take down the side and say, let's just take a breath. Let's just appreciate this moment because we have it together. Mhm. So let's reframe now after a whole side few breaths, right? Let's reframe what the actual issue is that triggered them and how they can move into changing that, because we are now going to be held accountable for each other's experience somewhat. Like you can't really control someone else's mind, but you
Mm-mm.
can help provide the safe space that they need for themselves to open up to be able to hear how to change. One woman that I work with occasionally, really amazing veteran who's like an advocate for medical marijuana and stuff like that. She has severe PTSD, and she told me that people with PTSD don't often know what they look like or how they appear to people who that they are interacting with. So usually when they're like really upset or angry or they're coming off with this energy, but they're trying not to, but it's based on this old factor, this lens that they're using viewing their activities with, they sometimes don't know that. So they have to be told, hey, you're actually speaking way louder than needs to be spoken. Or you're actually, how you're interacting right now isn't actually in balance or in flow. So like reawakening them to themselves so that they could say, oh, okay, that's not how I meant to come off, right? Because usually, sometimes, I'm not saying this for everybody across the board, but I think a lot of us are dealing a little bit with shell shock of bad relationships, neglected parenting, et cetera, et cetera. And we don't know that we look the way we're responding the way we're responding. Sometimes someone has to tell us we're responding that way. So you may think that you're being sweet and loving and caring to your DM, but you're actually maybe being hypercritical and nitpicking, or you may even just be being constantly negative because you can see how to make things better or more balanced. So people need to get out of the mental patterns, and other people need to call them on it. If that makes sense.
In a
Mm-hmm.
loving way.
Yeah, yeah. And that will help you to reflect and say, where am I coming at? Am I being actually received the way I want to be received? Is my communication actually effective? And that'll help you say, maybe even change our conversation with the universe, right?
Hmm.
Is all this stuff happening just to be hard on me just because I'm a horrible person? No, maybe it's just saying, hey, this is a time for you to kind of reflect on these areas. Maybe the universe wants you to slow down and do this type of work or restructure this type of connection. I mean, we're rebuilding family paradigms, we're rebuilding community paradigms, work, education, everything. We kind of went down the rabbit hole on that
No,
one.
I said that time I see where it all connected.
Hmm.
That time it was like, okay, I see how it all kind of stringed along like somebody sewing, and it was just like in and out, and all those pieces came together. And that is true. We have to remember when those things do happen that there is always a reason for things happening. I like to even go back. When you talk about the inner child, the child, we know we don't have to always use the inner child because it's wounding. Sometimes our inner child is a guide, just like we talk about angels and ancestors and all that stuff. A lot of times we don't tap into our inner child to ask, what, because that's really the purest form of really getting your heart's desire. Like they'll tell you, like, I almost heard him say, F that person. Okay, well, oh, all right, little girl, what that mean? I don't like them. Oh, okay. Well, why you don't like them? Because they don't speak to me right. Oh, okay, little girl. Or they don't speak to her. No, I don't like the way they talk to me. So okay, that's clear cutting to the point. It's like, oh, okay, so you don't like the way the DM? No, I don't like the way the DM talks to me. So again, so you have to think about, go back to the drawing board. How can you say, okay, well, let me see, why did that little girl inside of me say that doesn't like the way the DM talk to me? So you have to kind of take that and saying, okay, well, I gotta tweak that. Is that also inward reflection, going back to the mirror thing? Maybe some kind of way I talk negative and I don't, like April saying, and don't know it. Or what the DM is doing is really, if he's part of me and we're one soul and one heart, then it's something I've got to check within myself too. So my inner child has told me clear cut and to the point, is the communication is a problem. The way I talk to myself is a problem. I don't talk is positive. So that's another thing that we forget to always use, is another tool or a resource in helping us on this journey as well. Understanding that, again, when we're at that breaking point as well, I know for me, when I'm at that breaking point, I just go power more into my mission or my work. It's just like, okay, let me change the focus. So maybe you might even change the focus and go reapply it to something else. I can't do nothing about that. but I'm really tell you honestly, I'm kind of fed up with that. So I'm gonna kind of like put that project, put that to the side, and let me go handle something that I do have control over. And by that
Mm-hmm.
time, maybe things kind of change and shift on that end as well. It was something else. It was another thing that you had mentioned. I was trying to remember as you were going. But yeah, that's mostly sometimes it might come to me that I usually kind of shift in my focus to something else. And that helps me not to think about that other thing as far as what's going on with the things that I want to kind of really actually change as well. I wish it came to me. It was good. Okay, it'll come back. Ain't gonna come back now, but it'll come back.
But it does seem to happen in ripples. Like everybody's, hopefully, you're in a community online or you're communicating with other twin flames because it feels really intense right now for a majority of us.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's how we actually feel a little bit more balanced. Is like we check and balance with each other. Like, how you doing today,
Hmm.
sis? What's going on with you? And also just people sharing, like listening. I know people want to have their stories told and have their stories listened. You know, feel free to comment what's going on with you in this intense little roller coaster because it felt like a lot of just this weekend was just rolling with waves, man, and it was a harsh ocean.
That's what I.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt that. I felt that. I was like, I think some things has happened. A lot of people, some towers, some aha towers, some towers happen as
Yeah.
far as even the divine feminine, like you said earlier, doesn't discriminate because you.
Mm-hmm.
That's only for divine master. The hell it is. No, I don't think so. We have told you that is a lie, lie. They go both
Yeah.
ways on that one. Yeah, it had some major tower moments. It was prepping us for this moon here to get all that stuff out. I know I had watched and I talked about that also before I released that one. It was talking about Bahati was talking about we were going to feel like we want to do a lot of stuff, like this energy is going to hit us, and then it's best for us to like not do anything with this energy that's coming on, not to do everything because we need to kind of sit back and kind of really take introspection about what is actually going on and why we feel so manic to do stuff as well. We have to, and she said to be more, and that came even in the cards too when I released the video. It was saying for us to also be more in everything we do, bring love into it, and then we have to release negativity too.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board, all of the readers are pretty much all saying this toxicity, people get rid of that too. That's another thing as well. They're saying with these energies, to those things we're going to find some people do belong and some people don't belong
Mm-hmm.
with us as well. Because again, we're trying to see creating that sense of family because aspect too. So I
Um,
interesting. Yes, Kathy.
just real quick on the toxic people. I've talked to other people and they're like, well, for whatever reason, they can't completely get rid of the toxic person. But if you are making a conscious effort to separate yourself, separate your energy from them, you are still slowly getting rid of them. It's a forward motion. So a lot of times when we're hearing this about getting rid of a toxic person, don't mean that mean throw your mom out on her ear if she's staying with you and she's driving you crazy, or whatever, your boyfriend or your kids, you don't make them go camp in the backyard till the moon's over with. But you put up those boundaries and you have to you know do those movements because some of this stuff can't happen overnight. 9 times out of 10, if we're being pushed to it now, we've been told many times for a while that we needed to do it, and now we're being pushed to do it. But please know that it's forward motion. You're not standing still, but you're moving forward. So if you think, well, there's no way I can get out of it, there's just no way I can't quit my job now. I don't know what. No, nobody's telling you to, but maybe start looking for a job if there's something toxic you need to get away from, or start researching interests. Start not spending so many hours, when you're not asked to be there, and things like that. And so forward motion on that. Don't think you have to. And that's one of the triggers. That definitely can be a trigger, and that's a control issue.
And sometimes they say that slowing down is
Mm-hmm.
actually better than trying to scramble and do as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're slowing, you take the opportunity to breathe and comfort and relax the body and make wiser decisions. As we are all being pushed into a place of almost like fight or flight, we can get over the reptilian. It's a reptilian battle.
Your turn. MC Kathy D. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my gosh. I just went down the rabbit hole in my mind. Have you guys heard about? Never mind. I don't want to get into the reptilian whole thing, but dang, that puts a whole new perspective, especially if we all have the reptilian brain. Um, but to be able to like step into ourselves at any moment instead of stepping out of this fight or flight mode and panic. Forgive yourself for even taking the job in the first place. Forgive yourself for the moment. Let yourself have the space to say, okay, it's not perfect, but I'm working my way towards my personal heaven on earth, my personal enjoyment. Um, yes, I know that there's a huge amount of shifts considering what is actually happening with the whole dawn of the next golden age for the injustice and imbalances of the earth and us reharmonizing with our planet. It's a big, big freaking deal. And yes, it's hurting and it's shifting and it's changing a lot of things. But through that hurt, yeah, let's say somebody comes out as being a child molester and has molested multiple people in their family or something like that. Yes, that hurts a lot. But that finally that hurt is going to be over because it's going to be acknowledged versus pushed under the rug. Just like we're talking about human trafficking, labor encampments, just like all kinds of really imbalanced things are now shifting. And we're realizing that we can source things from healthy places, just like we can source our ideas and our mind from positive aspects and light aspects. Just even acknowledging that you speak poorly to yourself and your brain is a really great way to begin being or doing. That's the slowdown that we need to get into doing our highest self. So when I say that, I mean today is going to be a great day. I'm going to find so many positive things and be grateful for so much because I still have breath left in my body. And as you start your day with gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see the shifts changing in terms of the have nots because that's where I think the fuck it comes from is feeling like I really really want something really really badly and I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have. I don't have. I don't have. I don't. Right. So if I
Mm-hmm.
do and have and do and I do and I do and yes, and there's so much to be grateful for and there's so much growing and there's so much healing happening all at once and I'm just blessed to be a part of it. Yeah, it changes the vibration of what I attract. That puts me into more of a yes and. So there's this theater game that we would play because I was into theater in like high school and junior college and stuff, and it's called Yes and it's an improv game. So you can't really disagree, but you can't say yes and.
Mm-hmm.
So Uh, I woke up and my hair's a mess. Yes, and I have the opportunity to fix it. Yes, and oh, I have the perfect product and oil for my hair. Yes, and I don't have a curling iron, but no buts. Yes, and I don't have a curling iron, and I have this great wind coming through, so I'm gonna just be all luscious and goddess like with my wet hair and the perfect hair product and just let the wind. You know what I mean? I'm going down a rabbit hole, but
Well, I got you.
yeah.
That's
So
good. Yeah, because I felt also, and I feel Kathy D also saying like a gratitude journal. You could do that too as well. It makes it more purposeful and
oh
intentional
yeah,
as well because you need that. That's a good thing. Like when you at that breaking point, I think as you're saying, and if I'm hearing you correctly, you're at that point where you're more concentrating on the negative, and you're not living in the now. You're more
Mm-hmm.
like living more in the past, or you're anxious about the future. but you're not living in the now. And that gratitude journal or doing gratitude every day keeps you anchored and rooted and grounded and rooted where you are. And then on top of that, that kind of helps you to be able to see a larger scopes and be a more positive and raise your vibration, which causes for more good to come to you. Because if you're thankful for the little small stuff, the universe will find bigger things
Mm-hmm.
to give you. Because it's like, oh, you grateful for that? Yeah, I'm grateful for McDonald's fries. Oh, okay, well, we got other stuff out here. So, it's a lot of things that just keep on layering and adding on. And I think that's what's going to help also those to get out the breaking point too as well. I think I remember now you was talking about talking to a friend, and if they're talking very negative, you want to help them with that negative self talk. And you just have to wait also too a good opportunity for you to be able to talk to them too, because if they're in that woe was me thing, they don't want to hear no positivity. At that point, you have to kind of wait and say, okay, source or God, give me an opportunity that I can be able to, show that to them. Sometimes you don't have to be worried about it. Source will find a way on its own to kind of show that person, like, okay, yeah, let's somebody else. Somebody else told me that too. Say I talk negatively to myself, like I don't take compliments. You about the second person that told me that. So sometimes you don't have to, you don't have to go and correct them. They're like, well, maybe April had something to that, or maybe Kathy D had something to that. So, the universe will have a way of saying, okay, I don't think you got this. So let's go back and reteach that lesson again because you thought it was Kathy D said because you Jedi mind tricking you. She trying to get up in my head, tell me I always don't take compliments. And then April comes behind and say that. Say, oh, wait a second. Well, maybe it is something to it. So you have to allow source also to come double back and say, okay, you don't worry about it. I'll get the lesson to them another way, and they'll see what you're talking about. So that's always a good way, too. And like you said, also I believe that we have to get to the point that support is very needed too. That came out, I think, in the weekend update too. A lot of support, a lot of support. I think they say that definitely for the divine feminines. We have to seek some kind of support to be able to talk it. I kind of sense a lot of times when I'm talking to the divine feminines, especially the ones that are saying they're giving up. And I'm like, okay. And then they got a whole bunch of 5, 6 different comments after that. It's like, oh, I don't think you're really giving up, have you? Because if you're fighting and you're coming back with some more comments about this, I don't think we haven't given up on this. I think you just need somebody to talk and you kind of help you to maybe convince you to get yourself back in the ring again. So that's an interesting concept that I've noticed even with subscribers are talking to people. It's like I gave him juices. F that man. I was like, okay, here we go. All right then. Well, just remember, keep on with the journey, do your mission, blah blah blah. And I'm finished with it. And they come back with a whole blah, 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 some more things there. And I was like, no, you haven't given up. I knew that. That was just a test to see where you were consciously on things. But you talked about the mirroring, and sometimes the mirroring ends up being not in the same way. It's either the same or it's different. And we said it sometimes it's even also in the same way. I'm trying to see something about like the 50 in the a lot of times, sometimes you even find yourself giving up, and then you get some kind of inspiration again, also from the 50, some from source, or maybe the DM, maybe, or your divine feminine might come to you and sing a song or something like that that kind of inspires you to kind of get back into the ring too. So sometimes that also will help you to not give up as far as you on the journey as well. Are there any other kind of things that maybe can inspire people as far as like with these energies that we're experiencing now with this thing? What can we do? Because it right now, I think it's even breakthrough in all different kinds of types. It's like the relationship, this ascension. Someone saying this ascension is kicking my butt. Maybe I don't want to have to be divine. I think I just want to be a regular Joe because all this stuff here. That's it. Thank you, Raphael. So all this stuff is kicking butt. So is there some other things that
Well, ultimately, another other thing, yeah, there's choke. That's what they say in Hawaii when there's a lot. Choke,
oh,
like chockful. I thought that when I first got here. I was like, oh, I like that. show people, show people are going through this right now.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
And you don't necessarily have to be on the twin flame journey, but
Right.
to be experiencing it. But twin flame specific stuff is the mirroring stuff, um, and the balancing of that. And but I think you can have a lot of the ascension talk of like the pains in the body, and maybe you can't use too big of those esoteric words, like transmutation. Like I think that's not a general, that's not a coffee table word. You gotta get
True,
specific.
that's not. No, it's not.
But you can say simple things like, how do I change this feeling, right? You feel kind of heavy today. You feel kind of slow. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like these aches in my bones and stuff like that. Different things like that. And you can have those kind of conversations. And you can also kind of tiptoe into it. Like, did you just feel that breeze coming by or that energy just shift like that? That was interesting, right? Make a comment. And then see what kind of responses you can get in terms of adequate communication. Because the big deal is when you communicate, you want to be understood. You actually want to be felt so that, you get across what it is that you're doing and that they are getting across what they're putting, what they want to put out as well. And so that's kind of the hard part about the when you give up, because when you're at that emotional state already, you tend to be maybe less rational or more irrational and more
Yeah.
extreme in your communication, which
Mm-hmm.
makes you less effective in being received. So
True.
you're coming off a little bit intense for them, and or they're coming off as like disinterested or putting you off when that's not what you're actually trying to communicate. So the more you can kind of change your words up or ways of describing something, or even just being still with that emotion, that extreme emotion, and let it calm
Mm-hmm.
into something that's a little bit more manageable, that will help you understand more. But I know that a lot of stuff is shifting at once, and so there's a lot of extremes that are happening. But there's also, the opposite, where people are getting really kind of. I was never allowed to be bored, so I can't even say it. They're getting bored, whatever that means. Seriously, I had to read Pilgrim's Progress. If I said I was bored, I had to read Pilgrim's Progress and write a report. So
Oh,
I don't ever get bored, people.
okay. Okay, okay. Well.
I just meditate. I just go into meditation. But that's a nice default.
Yeah, that well, that is true. I better find something to do.
Go within. Go within. Time to explore. Uh,
Right?
there's a saying about being broken, right? Because a lot of us feeling brokenhearted, or we're going through stuff that we've experienced, and it's kind of heavy on us. And when
Yeah.
you go deep and you just scrape the walls of all this pain, and you allow it to rise up, however it does. Tears, if you have to scream in a pillow, just whatever you got to do to release that. But once you scrape that clean, you got to fill it back up with love. And once you scrape out all of that, like, sorrow and hurt, you got to fill it back up with love. And they say that there's this like Japanese method where the vase, if it breaks, they don't like just throw it away. They put it back together with gold,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more valuable than it was when it was originally
Yeah.
shattered. And so we can take our pain and turn it into something extremely beautiful and valuable for not only ourselves, but our families and those around us. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like how you want to balance that within yourself. I did self care today. I did a mask on a show and didn't tell anybody. So I just look like I've been melting all day.
Like, what the heck is going
Is no one going to say anything? Is no one going to just mention like she just has stuff on her face? We're not going to have no conversation.
on? I forgot you had no spa day over there. I sure did. I forgot to tell them that. So two things. Do you have an activity for us, April? And then also, Kathy D, what are some mind things that we could be doing during this time? So it don't matter whoever wants to go first, but what is it some things that we can be doing, especially with this energies? It's kind of like we're right there at the cusp, and some of us is almost like a running a marathon. I picture that's how we are. We right there at that wall. It's like I'm close, but it's like after a while I'm gonna feel like just forget it. Just give me my water and a towel, and I'm gonna sit over here on the side with these people cheering. After a while, I know I can finish this race. So what do you do?
Well,
When you
you said that the gratitude journal, and journaling that, and that's definitely, but there's some specific things we need to show gratitude for in at this point. And please don't think that you get this one time, I'm going to throw in the towel kind of feeling. They do get less and less, but they sometimes, as they get less and less, they have more kick behind them when we do get to that point. There's more emotion, there's more all of that. So when you write with your gratitude journal, make sure that you are grateful for how you react. Think back, because that's the one thing, actually, Benita and I talk about all the time, is that we know that the DM is coming back changed, and I'm like, well, I can't wait for him to entrust me that I'm not the stark raving lunatic that would fly off the handle and scream and yell and throw a fit. So because as these triggers hit, we learn to sit with them, like April says. And really and truly, you have to show gratitude to the universe for the lessons that taught you how to sit with that lesson, but also be grateful for yourself that you have learned and you have grown and you have evolved into this being that when people say things and they're being ugly and they're being nasty, you can sit there and you can listen. There's a difference. You're not tuning them out. It's not that you're not listening to them. You hear what they say and you understand their point, and then you just let it go. It's not worth getting upset over. You can't control other people. It's not going to hurt you. You're all right. And that's that. You've got to have that with the gratitude journal. Also, you know what? When you're really feeling like that, you need to take the time and you need to tap in to your DM, and I mean really ground yourself, shield yourself. Go into some deep meditated music, whatever. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get something from him. I think we all have done that in one way or another. Mine decided to come in through this crazy weekend and everything with just the statement, love me for what I am, love me despite of where I'm at, love me if I'm not ready, accept me for who I am, because I'm coming, but not the way you want. Let go of how you want it. Let it flow and let me find you. I'm bridging the gap. Just let me.
mm,
So, at that point, it gives you even more reason to just release and be grateful. And so we really have to show gratitude for our growth, for what we're going through, and for the person we're becoming. Because a lot of us a long time ago would have thrown in the towel a long time ago if somebody would have, it's, and not to sound egotistical about it or anything, but it's not like there weren't other options out there. Okay, we were not like, oh, he likes me, so I need to hold on to him because he's the only one that does. No. We're not there. Okay, and remind yourself you're not there.
yeah, we've come a long way, baby, from where we were before.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about now, especially on the journey. And some of that stuff we can thank ourselves, and we can also thank our DMs and
Yes.
the situation that they're in as well, because they help us to grow. And that's why we know that we're in the position that we are, and why they had to come and meet us to wait, because we were just like the Matrix. We were asleep. We were believing the stuff of what our parents had put on us, what society had put on us, and we weren't really living our authentic self. So that's very understanding that about that's the problem. It's the patience, because that
Mm-hmm.
even came out in the card too. It's the patience and the waiting and understanding. While you're waiting, you keep on doing you in the meantime of understanding that whole process, and that's what brings another breaking point, which is the waiting, which is not really waiting, or the patience that comes along with that, because a lot of people just saying, I can't really wait. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't see no progress. You're looking at it from illusion, and that's why I've said even several times, even on the trigger warning. This journey cannot be done by the head. It's got to be
Mm-hmm.
done by the heart, because otherwise, that
Mm-hmm.
you try to reason your way through it, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna match up. No matter how you try
Nope.
to put your head about it, it's just not. You're like, okay, but it's this. Like the
Mm-mm.
Marine said, that don't even make no sense to me. Okay, but you didn't know that don't make
Mm-mm.
sense to me either. So you really have to weigh it against your heart to actually know which way you're going. And sometimes that gives you the power to keep on going when you hit that breaking point. We say, and something with your heart would say, no, I want to keep on at this. I really truly believe there's something in this. And when you're talking about either union with yourself, when you give up on yourself, or even if you're talking about your person, a lot of times that heart will find some kind of way to beat again and say, no, something about this, that mission, it didn't come together, but something about it, I still want to do that mission work. I don't know what it is. It won't let me let it go. And so, that's another thing of, as far as we hit breaking points on that, as far as even with our mission and stuff. I don't think it's gonna come together. I've been on this same project for the 99th time, and I don't know why the hell it is. I get interruptions after interruption, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it today, and then before I know, I got X, Y, and Z hit me all at the same time. And so, I just say, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe sources tell me I shouldn't do this because I got all these 50 million distractions that came in there. And then he's like, but your heart said, boom, 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 boom. No, I want you to do that project. So, you have to find different ways to kind of get yourself back into the game about it. Because I know I got this other project that I was doing too, and I felt the same way. I was like, this ain't come together. These images ain't come together. This is not where I want to. And at first I was about to say, well, forget it. Maybe someone did give me the for me to do this project. And then I went to the washroom like everybody does, and then the ideas came. It's like, you going about it the wrong way. I don't want you to do X, Y, and Z. And then it came, and then before you know it, I was finished with the project in 3 days. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. So sometimes it's you using the wrong resources and the tools. You trying to will it your way, and so it's like, I got a different way for you to do it. That's another thing of how you can go for your breaking point. Just kind of like calm down, get settle your mind, get together, and really truly tune into source and see how they want you to do it too as well. All right, April, you
Here
got
we
something
go.
for us?
Take some deep breaths with me. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. While we breathe in, I want you, and out, I want you to visualize the shell or bubble around you. Silver inside, silver to gold, to rose gold, to a violet, to a white. And we're just gonna let that egg, that protection settle in, and that white attracts to it that deep, deep universal source of white light. Pass through all the emptiness of the universe into the deepest, either brightest source or darkest source, whatever your vision of the universe is. It can be reverse colors, it can however you want it to be. Just let it pierce in through time and space to your egg, and let that pierce in through your crown, to your third eye, down to your throat. You keep breathing to your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral, your root, your knees, your ankles, your feet, down to the core of the earth. And once it hits the core of the earth, it bounces back up to the feet, ankles, knees, hips, root. Squeeze your root, squeeze your root, squeeze your lower, your pelvic and your lower dantian. Your sacral, your solar plexus, Ooh. Heart, throat, third eye, crown. The universe, okay, the universe is to be complete. Now, I want you to envision your twin and they're surrounded by their egg of light. And it's protected and guarding them because this work has to do with the two of you, the mirroring, and they feel you, you feel them. Allow the air around you to be thick, water, thick like milk. Kind of sway a little bit, let a little space in when you can. Keep breathing. Now your energy of your twin, the universe goes in and goes through their crown, their third eye, their throat, their heart, their solar plexus, sacral root, knees, ankles, feet, out through the feet to the middle of the earth. And it pings that hot molten lava straight back up with that dark red energy, filling up that root, the ankles, knees, hips, root, and then to their sacral it turns orange, and up to their solar plexus yellow, and their heart green, whew, and their throat blue, third eye indigo, up to their crown. It's white at their shell, and that goes out to the universe. And now we're both linked into the universe. Now, in our eggs, in our special protection given to us by our ancestors and all the archangels and angels that be, allow our eggs to start to be able to vibrate through a portal that puts them right in front of you. So they are either right in front of you or right next to you. And start to exchange energies in your crowns. It goes back and forth, dancing between you and your twin, your third eye, back and forth, your throat, back and forth, your heart, back and forth, your sacral and your solar plexus, back and forth, and your root, back and forth. The knees, the ankles, kind of like you're melting in and out of each other's chakra and auric fields. Keep breathing. Take a note if you feel heat or cool, if any parts of your body start hurting. Just take some deep breaths. Just feel your twin connected with you in all chakras, even your hands, even through your palms and your elbows. Feel that merging, that connection with them. Allow your body to start to sway and allow peace to come in. And the light of source comes through both of you to heal both of each other's chakras. And the earth empowers you to balance and be present. So the earth or the energy of the earth comes up through you and balances through each other. And the heavens come down through you and balances through each other. And I want you to focus on your third eye connection, your heart to heart connection, and your solar plexus to solar plexus, your action centers. Knowing when to make the right decision with a clear mind. With a balanced heart, open and connected, full of peace and love. I want you to kind of morph into your high your highest children self. So you two as children, just happy and free, sharing these energies of the mind, the heart, and the solar plexus. Allow yourselves to be free. Link into the throat now. Allow yourselves to commune, to know. Know your sacral is safe. Know your root. There's stability there for the both of you. And the earth enwraps you too, and it comes into one big cloud bubble in your mind, and pop, open your eyes. Pop. Here we go. New world. Clear one. Here we go. How you feeling? Here we go. Yeah. Tap yourself in. That's right. Bring yourself in body. Bring yourself in body. Yawn, move your jaws. It's a lot of like, whoa.
Wow.
There's all these channels and sinuses in our brains, in our heads.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Got a lot of action right here.
My baby is covered with my face mask grumbling.
That's all right. That's all
Stop it, baby. Hang on.
right. Okay, so is there any lasting thoughts as we come to the end of the hour of power? Anything about or last words or thoughts or anything?
I think it's always to just trust yourself, trust your intuition. That's the greatest gift you have. And if you don't trust it, you have really have nothing. And that's how you can talk yourself into wanting to quit, wanting to be done, giving up. What I got through meditation from my DM, that was on the 5D. That was nothing 3D. That is, don't, please don't get it confused that we talk. We don't. So, and understand that. And from a personal note, I know what that feels like. I know when you get to certain points in this, when you want to, throw in the towel, and it's not worth it, but it is. It's so worth it. If for nothing else than for the growth and the amazing work you're doing on yourself.
I like that.
And that will not go unrewarded. There will be, you're not going to become this amazing person and then just be left by yourself. It's just not going to happen. That's not the way the universe works. That's not how God works. And so please don't think that. That, keep that in mind, and always gratitude, 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 especially during this time. You know, gratitude for showing you what you need to work on, gratitude for bringing up these pains. Um, you know, just show the gratitude for the lessons learned. Most important.
Hmm. April, did you have anything?
You might as well keep going. You got this far. You might as well keep going. Because there really is no off path. Because death and time are no, death is not an escape. Time is not an issue. You might as well do it now. And you can attempt to procrastinate, but it doesn't do anything but make you have more regrets that you didn't weren't involved in the first place. So enjoy
Yeah.
it, and you can always be entertained in the meantime. I mean, there's a lot of like my face is falling off. Excuse me. My masks are crumbling.
Is
Just
that a
saying.
metaphor? I hear a metaphor. I hear a metaphor of the face crumbling, emotional mask, masking of your emotion is crumbling apart. You're coming to the
And
truth through
it's
this
a form
process.
of self care. It's true. It's
Right.
a form of self care. And it's better when you choose the self care versus when it chooses you.
Oh
The
no.
mass crumbling chooses you.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to get to that point. Universe told you to do it. Now we're gonna force you to do it. You don't ever want to get to that point. No, that's all right. I'll do it myself. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
trust me.
I,
Yeah.
I hear all your imaginings, universe. I hear it. Trust yourself to do the right action too, and trust your intuition. You really get to fall in line with that.
All
There's
right,
a
Ralphie,
lot
you
going
have
on over here. This is all kinds of stuff.
him and Michael. Him and Mikey and Ralphie just like amen and all that. That's some good stuff y'all putting out there. Some darn good stuff. That's true. Trust yourself. That came out. All what you all said came out in my for the new moon energies. For that, trust yourself. Release. That was trust yourself for the divine masculine. And then the divine feminines had to come up with something. What was it? You'll see the video. It has all that stuff, but you all hitting right the nail on the head. What Source said that we all need to concentrate on this new one. All right, then, people, we are at the end of the hour of so much power. So now, as we continue on in this one, and we're ending the show, I'd like you to go and make sure you go check out pineapplefishlifecoaching.com with our own Kathy D, our own Jedi Master Mind Trickster right there that can get your mind right with just daily tools. And then she's also got hypnotherapy too, as well, to help get rid of those habits that you no longer serve. Maybe you had those negatives saying, I'm never going to get out this situation. Well, guess what? You need to go see Pineapple Fish Like Coaching.com with Kathy D, because she'll get you their mind right till you come out and say, what was I talking about before? Oh, okay. I forgot what I was came here for. Did you do something to me? You didn't do a darn thing, but here my money. That's how good she is. All right, then. So make sure you go see Kathy D for that too. And then we got our own made for this goldenlife.com as well. Our own Hawaiian goddess, Miss April Williams, right there. She gives you all those beautiful meditations and guided and helps you to get into your body. And for you all to make sure to understand where you're housing all that hurt and things that you need to get rid of, and you're unclear about doing that, make sure you go hit up her with this Golden Lifestyles Unlimited herself, made for this goldenlife.com as well. And also, if you like to hit me up and get your love letter or your instant reading or a reading just in general about what's going on with you, I have also a transformation special, not transformation thing too, where I check in to see what source says you need to do in order to transform yourself and change. And then also your blocks, triggers, and energies if you feel like you're blocked as well. So you can come hit me up and see about that as well. So also all together combined with all our talents, like a trinity for real. You got the mind, body, and spirit here. You can get the playground experience as well for $92 an hour each with each one of us. You come up with the concept, and we will create the program around what things you want us to concentrate and focus on in changing and transforming your life as well. So make sure you go to divineunisource11.co. And if you like all the good stuff that we're throwing down here on this channel, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Smash that bell, hit that notification there so you can be alerted as to when we go live. So we will be live Friday again at 6-ish or 6:10-ish, somewhere around there ish Central Time, and 7-ish, 7:10-ish Eastern Time, and Hawaiian Time. That's what? One,
Two.
2-ish, 2:10-ish, somewhere around there. Get the notification. That's why you gotta subscribe to the channel so you can know when we're on, so you can get that notification as well. All right then, Kathy D, get us on out of here. Oh, that's busy. That's busy. That's busy. That's busy. That's busy. Okay, there we go. All right. Get us on out of here, Kathy D.
Wishing you your best life ever. See you real soon.
All right, and April Williams.
Stay blessed. Stay golden.
And as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay motivated and ascended. Never stay, never go. I think it's time for me to never go. All right, then, see y'all.
Aloha.